All right, so back to homework. And when I did the last video, I stopped at 44. Why am I doing these backwards? Couldn't tell you. Why not? So when I was doing 44 the first time, I was going to do it with algebra, and I just keep forgetting that this is ACT stuff. We're not going to use algebra. But what we are going to figure out is what percentage of solvent we have right now. If you take 40% of 25, what you do is you multiply by 4 and divide by 10. You get 10 gallons of solvent. That was 0.4 times 25. 60% water, 0.6 times 25, is going to be 15 gallons of water. Now, they want you to do this so that you get a 50-50 mix, right? Just add 5 gallons of solvent, because that would make 15. That's 44 on the ACT. I mean, that's getting on up there in the numbers. 43 is easy if you know two formulas, circumference and area. Circumference is 2 pi r, and area is pi r squared. It's an easy question. So the circumference is given as 12 pi. That must equal twice pi r. Divide out your 2 pi. Try and do it by hand. If you do it in a calculator, you better wrap. And your radius is 6. Now that you know your radius, you plug it in. Unless you're that kid that thinks 6 squared is 12, which is why that is there, the answer is D. You see that one? That's for the moron. That one is too, because they did enough work to get a 6, and they thought 6 pi, because that's what they think of. Most of you too in this class right now will not ever actually take a trigonometry class. Even those of you who've taken dual enrollment next year, they say they took trig. You didn't take trig. You just took college algebra. But if you take a pre-calc class, this is a formula that you get taught, which makes it really, really, really easy. And I'll do this in a calculator too. But you are taught that the sine of some x plus y, sometimes we use alpha and beta, is the sine of x times the cosine of y plus the sine of y cosine x. So I was able to identify this real quick. This is x, this is y. All right. So if I identify these as 60 and 30, obviously I'm talking about the sine of 60 plus 30, which is choice J. Now, most of you are not going to take a trigonometry class where that formula is taught. You're just not going to do it unless calculus is on your horizons. But anyways, if you have a TID4 in front of you and you have to set this mode, because the default mode is radian, you hit the mode button, you go over degree, and you just type in the original function as they gave you. They gave you sine 60, cosine 30, I think the answer is 1, plus cosine 60, sine 30. But it's been a long day. But if I was a betting man, I'd put $100, I get a 1 back. I did. I got a 1 back. There's other reasons for that too. But anyways, 1 came back. And you go through your answer choices. Cosine 60 minus 30. Not it, right? Cosine 60 plus 30, which should be 0. That or my brain's not working right. Not a 1. Anyways, you get to choice J, which is sine 60 plus 30. And there's your 1. So don't forget you have a TID4 in front of you. There are things that it can do. And there you go. 41, the equation 24x squared plus 2x equals 15 has 2 solutions. What is the greater of the 2 solutions? In a perfect world, every one of you would realize that you shift over and you factor. But a lot of kids can't factor, and they don't care that they can't factor. Hopefully you're not one of those kids, because whatever. Anyways, factors of 15 are going to be 3 and 5. I'm just thinking about the order here. Oh, that was 24x squared, wasn't it? I needed 12x. Here I am talking crap. How do I want to make a 24x squared? Well, I'm going to guess and check. what I want, 5 and 3, and I'll probably miss this thing the first time. Yep. 6x and 4x. Yep, here it is. The outside makes 18, the inside makes 20. If the 20 is positive and the 18 is negative, there you go. Then do your cover-up technique. It wants the greater solution. This would be x is negative 5/6, and this would be x is 3/4. So it's obviously 3/4. Now, we're doing this, we have just started kind of doing stuff like this in Algebra 2 at this moment in time. You can always just put this in y1, and you can put this in y2. And I'm going to spend the time doing this with you. Hopefully you're playing along at home. I train you guys to do a Zoom 6. You should do a Zoom 6. I'm also trying to train you how to look up, window, change the Y max to maybe 20, see if you see anything. Because I did that because I had a 15. This is going to be the bigger solution right there. So second trace 5 for intersect. Get that cursor close, enter 3 times, once, twice, thrice. 0.75. Hopefully you're smart enough to figure out that's 3/4. Regardless of how a graph is oriented in the standard XY coordinate plane, no graph in one of the following categories has a vertical line of symmetry. Oh, what an interesting little question. One would think it would be the scalene triangle. Of course, there's some things here like the pentagon. They're not specifying its regular. Parallelogram, they're not specifying its regular. Scalene triangle. Scalene triangle means all different sides. They say no graph in one of the categories. Okay, so we can have perfect regular pentagons. We can have regular parallelograms. It's the scalene triangle because they all have different sides. There's just no way to cut a scalene triangle perfectly in half. Not that I can think of. So it's got to be the scalene. Given matrices x equals -1, 0, and y equals -2, 1, which of the following matrices is xy? If I teach you this at all in Algebra 2, it will probably be after the end of course test, or it'll be something small that I do on the ACT stuff on the basics. It won't be anything big that I do. It won't be a course thing. But what you do is you take the first matrix and you turn it sideways. It's really easy to do when you've got one row, 2 columns. And then you multiply it by the second matrix. You literally multiply across, and then you add down. You get -2. That's the answer. Now, say you don't remember that on ACT day. You literally go to matrices. Second matrix, edit. That is a 1/2. Throw that in for matrix A, quit out, back to matrices. This time go to matrix B. Still now matrix B has 2 rows, 1 column. She's -2, -1. So I stored one matrix in A, I stored the other one in B. And now I can just literally do this, matrix A, and then right next to it, you don't even have to hit the multiplier key. Just choose B. Because I didn't see that negative. I'm glad I checked that. Negative times a negative is a positive. Really glad I checked that. I am known to make mistakes. There's 39, and that's the end of the ACT. So, till the next video.